So in today's video, what I want to cover is the specifics on how to get set up for an exit. Now, I don't think a lot of people talk about what their end goal is when it comes to business. Because granted, everybody has a different lifestyle, everybody has different achievements, everybody's trying to reach a certain point. People that are in e-commerce, that are building businesses, maybe they're first-time founders, and they don't know what their end stage is yet because they haven't been in the game long enough. Let's say if it's a experienced seasonal founder, maybe they've built 3 to 5 brands, maybe they're trying to stay in this game another 5 to 10 years. And then on the other side of the spectrum, let's say you have like a family business that's been around for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Now it's time to look at maybe exiting that company. Or let's say you're starting from scratch, but you're building something in mind for an exit, right? You plan on building a bunch of businesses that exit instead of just sticking to one, right? There's no right or wrong answer. Everybody's on their different journey. And ultimately, my job as a marketer who specializes in making businesses profitable is to share systems, ways, the pathway, so that if you ever choose to one day exit your company, you can, right? And what are the benefits when you start from scratch and you have the potential of exiting in mind? Well, then you're going to set up your business in a particular way. Granted, what are the positives of setting up your business with exit potential? Well, for whatever reason, right? Let's say 5 to 10 years down the line, as you experience peaks and troughs, you realize whatever, you just want to exit. Maybe timing's off. Maybe you're in a certain situation. You have the potential to leave your current spot, and let's say you want to build something completely different up the vertical. You have more experience, right? Well, then the positives is your cash flow on your P&L sheet. You have more profit, which is what investors want. As a byproduct as well, let's say you have a high LTV. You have strong retention. People are coming back to your business multiple times during the year, multiple times during the 12-month time frame, and they're purchasing other products or the same SKU again. Who knows? Maybe your product's just superior in the market, right? And then as a byproduct, how can you combat these two fronts? Profit on the front end, retention on the back end. It's pretty simple. It's actually really simple. You have a high average order value on the front end. On the back end, that's where the marketing comes into play. Marketing comes into play on both fronts, on your front end and your back end. Your messaging on the front end to get somebody to capture their attention, to want to purchase, especially if they're brand new, they've never heard about your brand. You have to use specific angles, specific copy to generate curiosity. And then on the back end, there has to be congruency from the customer journey, what they've experienced. And then on the back end, you have to serve them. Either if you're pushing a subscription, you have to give them a reason to want to subscribe, which can be done on the front end. Or on the back end, you have to add additional reasons. You have to add additional reasons why somebody should buy back from your business. Could be you have a downsell. Could be you have an upsell. And how do we achieve profitable unit economics so that we're actually making money on the front end from every dollar of ad spend that we utilize? Well, we have our best performing SKU in the past 90 days or in the past 6 months or the past year, whatever's backed by data. We couple that with, let's say we have potential 1 or 2 additional SKUs. We add those into a bundle. We push that bundle on the front end. Let's take for example's sake, each product, our main product's $35. Our additional 2 other SKUs that we're going to put in the bundle, our retail for that is like another $20, right? 20 per SKU. So we're looking at a total AOV bundle retail price at around $80, $85. And then if we include shipping on that, we're looking at around $100 total customer ticket. AOV is solved. But how do we generate sales? Well, then we need to create a no-brainer offer to this. How can we get somebody to spend $100 with us? Well, there's a couple of ways you can build this archetype. You can build this framework. You could do a buy 2, get 1 free. As a byproduct, you spend we could frame it as you spend over like $85, $90 with us. We'll give you this free SKU. You could do a buy 1, get 1 50% off. Let's say you have 2 SKUs that fit that gross margin, that fit that high AOV bundle. You could do buy 1, get 1 50% off on the front end, right? This is only for new customers who are unaware about your business. Regardless, we're still getting them to spend at least minimum $50 with us, depending on your gross margin. How we set the target on the AOV is our gross margin has to be above 75%, or it has to be around 75%. Real quick, I just wanted to add, I'm the founder of scalable.io. I specialize in helping brands get set up for an exit, all while building in-house. You don't have to rely on working with ad agencies. You don't have to worry about spending 10, 15, 20K a month retainers. The great thing about this is I manage a portfolio of brands. So I see a multitude of brands on different spectrums. I have brands doing $1 million a year, brands doing $10 million a year, and then brands on a higher spectrum as well. You even have your multitude of diversity with, let's say, retail brands trying to get into paid ads, getting into the online sect. Now, the great thing about this is I have all of this inside a protocol that you can read for free. It's a 35-page white paper, goes everything in depth, A to Z, how to get set up with paid ads, how to build profitable unit economics, how to build high AOVs, and as a byproduct, how to actually diversify your ad spend. So if you're interested, check that out at scalevelocity.io. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. And then depending on our net profit on that, I want to hit at least a 12% to 15% net profit margin target for every SKU sold. And then when you have a bundle, right, you have higher margins. You have higher potential to really expand on. So now this gets us to a point where we have this Grand Slam offer. We have the high AOV bundle. Our gross margin's around 75%. We're getting consistent sales. We're running ads. We're on Meta. We're on Google. We're diversified to an extent. Let's say we're spending around 100K a month in ad spend. And then from there, as a byproduct, we're building the business. We're looking at data. We're seeing, okay, what is the product people are coming back and buying from our business? We need this information. Why do we need this information? Because then we can push it on the front end. If we know the consistency on the LTV on a specific product, we know we're going to make money on it. So then we push on the front end on ads to a completely different demographic. This demographic of customers are providing utility, or they're providing consistency of coming back to our business. So why not expand horizontally as we go up the vertical? So we have a winning pocket of a campaign. We increase ad spend, we're scaling. But how do you generate consistency across the board as you're diversified, as you're spending money on Meta, as you're spending money on Google? It's the same reason why you're diversified. You're running ads across multiple channels, so in case one channel messes up, you have other channels to grow your net profit. You're not relying on one channel. Same when it comes to actually testing your campaigns. You're not reliant on one single demographic, on one single pocket of audience. You're expanding other demographics. So then in case, as you increase spend and as you hit entropy, you're diversified in your campaigns. So in case during a certain week, one campaign isn't working, you have a separate campaign that might be generating more results. As you know, campaigns go up and down. It's really inconsistent with the market. Meta could update bugs, whatever. And this is the same reason why you're running ads across multiple channels. Meta might have bugs during certain periods. You're still going to get money on Google. You're still going to generate sales on YouTube. You could possibly even generate sales on TikTok for the time being. But that's really the steps to not only scaling your business from whatever revenue mark you're at to the next step, but this is the principles that apply to any brand for any business, whether you're starting out, whether you're expanding, whether you're growing. And then of course, as you reach the higher revenue marks, as you pass 8 figures a year, then that's where you start going into depth about the actual exit multiple potential. Because if you're trying to make more money on the back end of the actual exit, we're talking 12%, 13%, 14%, 15%. Let's say you're not only in online sales, let's say you're in retail, let's say you're in wholesale, right? You're even more diversified. The revenue you're doing is you're north of, we're talking at least 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 M a year, right? And you want that sexy exit you dream about, right? Like you've been in the game for 20, 25 years. That's where it comes into play, where you mess around with EBITDA. But at this point in time, if you just follow the roadmap of how do we generate first order profitability on the front end, can we build a higher average order value from online sales because this is going to attract a higher demographic? What are we doing on the back end to get the same exact customer to buy back from our business? Are we pushing subscriptions? Are we pushing downsells, upsells, cross sells? And then the fourth criteria in this pathway is, once we crack a platform, once we're scaling, can we just bring diversity and cross point A to point B to point C, everything in what we're testing? For campaigns, it could be audience demographic, could be creatives, could be style creatives, could be static GIFs. UGC for audience could be men, women, could be both, could be specific demographics of copy, could be specific angles. And then as you expand, as you scale up Facebook, then your Google spend's going to increase because it's a search platform. You're going to be mainly retargeting there. And then on the back end as well, right, you could diversify into YouTube, TikTok, and then you're not relying on one channel. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If there's any questions, comments, leave them down below. I'll drop my PDF where you can check out the exact resource necessary so that you can implement this for your business. And you have the guide to generate more money for your business, regardless of if you do want to exit or if you don't want to exit. You don't have to rely on working with agencies to spend any money as far as controlling your media buying. And then this is the pathway, whether you do this in-house or you're managing everything yourself at this current time. You can work with me and I'll show you the next step, the next level, so that you can get out of monotonous tasks and you can focus on revenue driving activities. With that being said, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.